And guess what? Nobody else knows everything about you, but he does. God knows your heart. God knows what you think and you feel and what you dream. He knows everything about us. And what happens when we move from the concept of God to the reality of God is there's a great deal of fear because God actually is God. So when Peter realizes that Jesus is God, he says, "Get away from me, Lord, for I'm unclean." And what we see here is the same thing. When Isaiah sees who God truly is, when he moves from the idea, the concept of God that you can kind of play with, well, maybe I think God is like this, or maybe he's like that, or my God would do this, and we sort of have personalized gods. When he sees the true and living God, the God of the Bible, it is altogether terrifying to him. Verse 5, I said, "Woe is me." That is a curse, essentially. "Woe is me, for I am lost." You know, my whole structure of how I saw stuff, I'm kind of better than them because I've got some things under control, right? And I'm more moral than these people. Whoa. When you compare yourself to God, that completely flips the scales. "Woe is me, for I am lost." And notice this, "For I am a man of unclean lips." Isaiah was a priest. His bread and butter, his work was his lips and his words. If there's anyone that you could probably say had control of his mouth and could speak in such a way that was captivating and interesting and fascinating and amazing, it would have been this guy. And he's saying, I'm a man of unclean lips. The gift that God has given me that I'm trying to use, I have used in sin. I'm a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. This is God, this is me, and this is everybody else. There's a difference here, a big difference, and it's not good. "For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." When Isaiah recognizes that he is the problem, he recognizes that his words show his heart. Isaiah didn't merely have a self-control problem, he had a worship problem. I need us to get this because this is really important. The underlying issue is always a worship issue. So somebody doesn't have just primarily a eating problem, or a drinking problem, or a sex problem. These are behavioral fruits, but the root is always worship. The root is always worship. So greed, drunkenness, gluttony, pornography, it's ultimately an idolatry issue. It's always, at its root, a worship issue.